Wonderful. That didn't take too long. Welcome, everybody. Namaste. Akasha here. And thank you for joining me. Hi, Sylvia. Oh, thank you. Thank you for telling me I look good. I'm still have my weird ear healing. It's very, very strange having your ear cut off, basically, and the numbness around it and on it, the life. Ooh, look at this weirdness going on here. The life force around it. So you kind of see the aura here, don't you? As I move around. It doesn't happen on Zoom with these backgrounds. So anyway, yes. Well, today I'm a completely different person. Joyfully. I'm still in my mystical experience, which I'm going to start our day with to share with you. So, as you know, I do deep spiritual soul work, traveling dimensions. I've been to many mystery schools, shamanic training, energy medicine. I am a clear seer, channel, oracle, whatever you want to call it, all those wonderful names. I have many priestess experiences in this life and other trainings, and I actively connect with and co-create with these other lives on a regular basis, as well as all the realms that are here, crystals and trees and land and ocean and moon and wind and everything. To me, everything is alive. So what's very interesting that's happening now is we know we're in the dragon year, and we know that we're in a moment of very accelerated evolution. And we are going to higher states of consciousness. We aren't just broadening things. We are going to higher rates and states of consciousness. So if you don't have the scale of consciousness or vibrational rates of consciousness, it's free in the shop. Please get it, look at it, use it as a transformational tool. It's incredibly empowering, and it helps you understand where you are vibrationally in each different moment, so that you can be more realistic about what you're expecting from yourself and what your next step is. It's a biofeedback tool, essentially, for your entire light body, your state, your mind, your emotions. So as we raise up the scale, we literally go faster, the way that if you boil water, it gets faster and faster, and then it starts to change state. It goes from dense liquid, which can be very heavy. If you've ever been in the ocean or in an avalanche or in a snow, you know how heavy snow and water can be, how powerful it can be. You have to have super respect for this element. Then as we boil it, we get what? We get noise, we get sound, and steam. So it starts to transmute. It literally changes its form and its state and its rate of vibration higher. And the molecules heat up. We all kind of know that from microwaves now. But prior to microwaves, which was the way I grew up, I don't use one either now. However, we kind of all understand the concept is a microwave just tells the molecules to speed up. And the faster they go, they rub against each other and they create heat. This is a transmutational process. It's a shape shifting process. And it's what we are going through as well. We are raising our consciousness to levels that haven't been accessible to us for a very long time. And when this happens, you can communicate with your higher self or angels or realms. You can talk to your other lives. You can travel back and forth in time. You start to understand the fluidity of what we perceived as solidity. So the walls aren't solid. Even science knows now that they're vibrating energy that's basically created from thought. And the further you go into the density of the molecules and the material, the more space you find. It's not dense at all. And it's vibrating at a particular rate. So you vibrate at a particular rate when you're full of shame, guilt, blame, anger, craving, resentment, enslavement, and all of these lower states of consciousness. As you raise your state of consciousness, you aren't leaving people behind. Had an interesting conversation on a podcast last night. I was like, oh, I don't believe in going higher. I only believe in going broader. And I thought about it later, and I thought, well, I don't want to go broader because it means I'm just staying in the same state. So I'm in the blame and guilt and shame and unhappiness. Let me just go broader and broader and embrace more of it. And from the fear of leaving people behind. No, when you raise your state, you raise your consciousness, and now you are a different being, and you are emanating a different energy, and you are creating a different reality, and you don't leave people behind. You give people an opportunity to raise their own state. When someone broke the 1 minute mile, everyone said it was impossible, and suddenly people all over the world started doing it, and we've done that and more. So when you go ahead of higher, yeah, there may be some people in your life that disappear because they want to hang out at low states of consciousness. And okay, but you're not here to live their life. You're not here to live this pathetic life where I'm just miserable and unhappy, pleasing everybody else and feeling resentful and feeling exhausted. This is not serving anybody. Please stop it. Okay, regardless of your family and your current circumstances and how much they wish you were acting the way you used to, or they wish that you were catering to their emotional needs because they don't want to face their own issues. They don't want to change. They don't want anything to change. They want to blame everybody else and sit there miserable. Okay, people are allowed to do that. Let them do that. You don't have to. We need people like you and I who are willing to say, okay, it may not be popular, but I have to go into my soul. I have to follow the quest and the promise that I gave my soul. I have to. That's why I'm here. And this moment right now, where Mother Nature essentially has taken off the barriers to evolution, that we can, as animals and plants and all kinds of species, are evolving very, very fast, and extinction is happening very, very fast. And you can sit and look at it as bad, or you can sit and look at it as evolution that is natural for us. And what it means is, the faster we realize that we're the creator of our reality and what we're creating is more guilt, blame, shame, and misery, the more we stay in that, the more we play with that power, the more we read those stories, the more we get involved in the news, the more we try to tell everybody else it's their fault that our life isn't good, the more that we're creating that reality. I don't want to live in that reality. So I invite you to a completely different reality in what I do here. And thank you for being here. So you go to a higher state, you're like water, you start to boil, you start to have faster energies, you have more energies. And now those energies are power energies. They empower you instead of burden you, instead of force you down. And when that happens, you access higher states of consciousness, which let you see that all of this story that everybody's living of, oh, I'm not good enough, and there's not enough, and why don't I have this, and this pain, and this person did this, and abandonment and betrayal. It's all painful, it's all real, and yet the more you stay in it, trying to figure it out from that state of consciousness, you can't. Okay, I think it was Einstein, right, who said you can't solve a problem from the same state of consciousness that created it. So the idea of just broadening yourself inside the same state of consciousness is ludicrous, because you're just embracing more of that same state of consciousness. You're not going to see the million solutions to it. You're not going to free yourself of the emotional burden of what you think it means, or how you think it hurt you, or how you think it's holding you back. And you are creating your reality by what you are thinking and what you are being. And therefore, source, the divine, goddess and dragon, sacred masculine, sacred feminine, these energies don't judge. They simply say whatever you want. And if you're showing up feeling a certain way and you're feeling guilt, pain, shame, and all the rest of it, then it's going to say, okay, here you go. We will give you whatever you want. And this happens every day. There's a sacred dance of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine going on every day. You could look at it as day and night. You could look at it as conscious and subconscious. You could look at it as the kundalini of your life force and your meridians. All of these things hold the principle of yin yang. And that principle of yin yang is a principle that has the ability to take you in to higher states of consciousness, where you are a conscious co-creator, where you travel realms, where you remember when you were a starseed, or you were a Mayan shaman woman who came from another planet to bring a certain wisdom here. You can remember when you were a healer, or how to hold space and help people through trauma. How much trauma has there been in our history? A shit ton. So what if you remembered the times that you were a benevolent leader, where you took the power and the money and you sat and 11, and you sat and you thought about what is the best for the people? What is the best for this country? What is the best for everything? How can we create a cohesive environment? And someone has to be comfortable and willing to hold that wealth, hold that power, and not abuse it. So a lot of the fear that's coming up now is, I don't want to know my sacred powers. I don't want to remember that I'm psychic. I don't want to know that I'm a healer. I don't want to know that I'm, creating my reality, because then one, I have to face the fact that I'm the one that created everything already. Sometimes people can't handle that. They go into a whole guilt, blame, shame thing, and they want to run away from it. So take the next 20 years, 2 years, 5 days, 300 years of your life, whatever you choose, you have free choice. You don't have free will, though, to change the day, because this day is already determined by who you were being when you were sleeping, who you were being yesterday, who you've been your whole life. You've already laid the pathway of the timeline that you're walking down. Now, why come in on a soul quest? Why does that make any difference? Because at a soul level, all right, at a level of higher consciousness that can see everything and understands that nothing is finite, everything is eternal, that nothing is really bad or good in and of itself, because eventually everything just dissipates back to source. However, there is a way to create a reality of harmony, love, peace, abundance, health, and there is a way to create a harmony of hell, and that's what we've been living in. The harmony, the a reality of hell, right? And the more people cling to their limitations and their fear and their blame, and they want to figure out how to make other people responsible, the more dense they become. And the harder it is to change that, or to see a solution out of where you are. And that's what we're dealing with, a huge separation right now of people who are going towards the light, and we're over here finding our way, figuring it out. It's never been done before. How do I let go of who I was when nobody wants me to? How do I become something I don't know what it looks like? How do I find a role model that can tell me the path? How do I become this in the middle of all this perceived chaos when everybody else thinks it's bad and it's terrible and it's hard? And I'm going, well, it's not bad and terrible and hard. It's a massive opportunity. And it is. So when we move into higher states of consciousness, like the water turning into sound, turning into heat, turning into vapors, steam, we are transmuting or shape shifting all of those beliefs, all of those soul contracts, all of those vows that we took in other lives that said, oh my God, I'm never going to have money again. Oh my God, I don't ever want to be royalty. Oh my God, I don't want to be sovereign. Oh, I don't want to do anything that's going to attract attention, because I've been beheaded and killed and blamed and attacked for so long. And maybe you carry pain in your body. Maybe you carry a congenital disease, or you carry a very long-term issue, like my ear infections or my back problems that I got much later in life, never had them earlier in life, and have woven in and out of my life up until just recently, where, to my surprise, a lot of the back and neck problems are dissipating. And not really to my surprise, but to my delight. Because I know that this inner work that I do, I know this transformational work I do on higher realms is where you go to the cause. We are taught to try to affect the physical reality and change it by being in physical reality. Work hard, long hours, suffer a lot, sacrifice your time, your joy, your passion, do what's responsible or respectable to other people or realistic. Don't think that you can be happy, and all of this other nonsense that everybody's been living inside of. You're not a sheep. You don't have to follow the herd. You are here to be an individual, powerful spiritual being. And when you access your soul quest, you're going to understand this at a higher level. So what happened to me last night is probably could take me 3 hours to describe. I'm going to do my best to give you a small taste, because I'm still in it and it's delicious. If you ever, it wasn't a dream. I was fully awake. It was over 8 hours. And then I finally fell asleep very early this morning. And when I woke up, I was still in it. I could feel the frequency and the vibration in my aura. I had auric feelings, vibrating, tingling, pulsing around me. And this happens a lot. I'm always moving in and out of states of consciousness in my normal day, for myself, for my clients, for you. And yet this was a whole other thing. So the simplicity of it is that we are creators of our reality. We've been told otherwise. We've been forbidden by governments, family, and especially religions to directly access our power. We've been told that the sacred feminine and the female in all forms is bad, is sin, is the problem, and even forbidden in law and scripture to access forms of divination, which is direct divine communication with source. So you can't use oracle cards, and you can't talk to the trees, and you can't notice a bird flying over 3 times that day and think it has a sign. You can't go in and create. So this comes from a paradigm of fear that the masculine energy of power over, instead of using masculine energy to protect, to build, and to create in a dance, in a sacred dance with the feminine that comes in and creates, that produces. It's no different than making a baby. The sacred feminine is receptive, and it has not just the egg, but it has the container, it has the womb, it has the chalice or the cauldron within which to hold that life, nurture that life, gestate that life until it is ready to be birthed into the world. And this is the same way that all creation happens. You creating a new job, you finding a house that you buy, you finding your new car, you finding your best friend, you finding your lover. Every single thing you've ever created in your life, you created because of who you were being. And when you went to sleep, what you were feeling, you went into the realm of the subconscious. You went into the realm of the sacred mother. And she took you in to her arms, and she rocked you and loved you and soothed you and rejuvenated you. We know how nourishing and rejuvenating sleep is for the body and the mind, right? And the emotions. And yet there's a whole other level of stuff happening here. Once you're in that place, she also says, whatever you're feeling, I will create for you. So when you come in, you are coming from your conscious day. You're coming from the masculine energy day. And maybe you've had a frustrating day or a fearful day or a painful day or a disappointing day. Or maybe you just have a constant malaise or ennui, that you're bored with your life, that you don't think anything will change, or you're disappointed in what's happened, or you've had failures, or maybe you're ramping up with excitement to get ready for the next new output of your energy to go for something that you want. And yet you're getting ready to do it in the same old way, with the fear that you might fail, with the worry that you may be disappointed, with the issues that are around you that you drag with you. These old vows, these old karmic contracts, these old embedded beliefs, mindsets, these sit inside of your cells, your body, your DNA, your aura, your mind, your emotional field. Everything goes with you, and it is what is creating. So if we do not find those old soul contracts and not delete them, but literally shapeshift them like boiling water, turn them into a new state, burn off some of that heavy liquid like vapor and free it. You don't need it anymore. Let Gaia eat those old pain energies that say, oh, I'm never good enough. I'll work hard, but what if it doesn't work out again? I'm going to do it anyway, but I feel guilty doing it because people don't like it. Or what if I spend money and I don't make money? All of these things that are considered normal. And I've lived in them all of my life, and I've dismantled them over the last 30, 40 years, bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit, to live a very magical life. But it doesn't mean I don't have some of those still. You still keep finding the deeper part of it or the more subtle part of it, and then you discern it, and then you become the true creator of your reality. You become the true sovereign queen or king of your realm. However, we've taken the idea of a king and queen, and we've looked at our history, and we've said, ooh, bad. And we've had revolutions against landlords, against repressive governments, repressive religions. We've had accused many, many kings and queens and cut their heads off, depending where you live, and imprisoned them, and all kinds of things. So then what if you had a life as a queen or a king and your head was chopped off and there was a revolution and they came in your house, and you went from being this sovereign person who had all this power, all this money, all this wealth, all this freedom, all this ease, and it was all taken away. And, they tortured you and dragged you through the streets and spit on you and stepped on you and stoned you to death, or they put you away like Marie Antoinette and they chopped your head off, or whatever. So that would create a little trauma, maybe, you think? I don't know. So we can say, well, you deserved it because you want to judge. However, if you're judging, you're in the second lowest state of consciousness, I don't want to be down there. So one of my goals is to constantly say, what am I judging? Am I judging myself? Am I judging this? Am I judging the outcome of what I'm getting ready to do? Am I really ready to dive in and put my all into healing my body, or creating a new class, or looking for new clients, or wanting a new job, or putting myself out there for the love of my life? And I'm carrying these fears of, well, in the past I was hurt. Well, in the past I always attracted jerks. Well, in the past this. Well, it's not just this life. You are carrying imprints from all of your lives, many, many lives, on purpose, because of a soul design. And the soul quest that you're on in this life is very special, because you are a pinnacle life. It's what I call it. You are a life. All the lives of your soul have already been lived, and they're simultaneously existing, and you can access any of them. Time is mutable, okay? Very mutable. Space time says it takes time to cross that space. So it's going to take me 5 years to build my business, or it's going to take me 6 hours to drive to this location, etc., etc. That is not true in the quantum realms. That is not true in the infinite fields. That is not true outside of space-time. So when you leave space-time and you realize it's just a construct, which is an agreement, which is a belief, and these might be high-level mystery school concepts, I understand. However, people are talking about this now. People can grasp this now. You've had moments when you go, wow, it felt like time just went on forever. Oh my gosh, that was 5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes. Whenever we do an activation, especially at a sacred site during my retreats, you're out of your ordinary world. The power of a retreat is way more than fun, or which it is, or going someplace interesting, which is, or meeting the people that are there, which is great, or going to a mystical land or a beautiful place, or kissing a dolphin, or climbing a pyramid. It's the activations that I do. It's the realms that I open. It's the messages that I channel that come to you and through you, that open keys in your codes and free you from these old patterns. It's all of that. And even better than all of it is it gets you out of your ordinary world, where the habit of being you every day, thinking the same, doing the same, drudging through, oh, I better do some laundry. Oh, I need to answer that. Oh, I've got to cook my husband dinner. Whatever is your ordinary world, you need to get out of it, because your soul quest is a quest, and a quest means you leave your ordinary world. A hero's journey, the first step in a hero's journey. Every single book and movie ever written is a hero's journey. The archetypes, the myths, they're all telling you about a hero's journey. Why? So that you can say, wow, I'm glad I'm not Hercules. I'm glad I didn't have to go through all of that pain. You are. It's showing you that you are here on a quest. You are a hero. You are a heroine. And guess what? The hero or the heroine is always guided, always has Athena coming, a goddess watching over, giving you a sacred tool, or giving you a secret of how to defeat your demons, or how to succeed at an impossible task that you've been given. The only difference between us and these heroes in the myths is that they were told flat out, here's your journey. Go defeat that 20-headed monster. Go get this impossible tree. Go do this thing. Go do that thing. And they're going towards it knowing it's impossible. They're probably going to die. But they don't have a choice. Perhaps they've been tortured. Perhaps somebody's been taken from them. Perhaps they've lost everything and they have to go on this quest. They have no other choice in their life. They don't have an ordinary life to just sit around and watch TV and scroll Facebook. They go, I have to do this. Chiron, which we talk about a lot in the spiritual weather reports, is the wounded healer. And if you read the story of the hero of Chiron, he was beset with so many horrible illnesses and pain, and that even in the end, the gods could not relieve him of his constant pain in his body and his emotional field. So instead, they made him a god. What does that mean? What is that metaphor? What is that psychologically telling us? That regardless of all the pain that you have, even if you don't think you can change the pain in this physical life and reality, you are becoming a god, which means you're becoming sovereign. You're becoming a queen or a king. You're becoming the ruler of your reality. You're becoming the authority of your life, and you have to take it in your hand. You can't play small. You can't stand in the back. You can't hold your voice back. You can't hold your powers back. You can't say, oh, well, I'm not great, or oh, I'm afraid of being criticized, or what if this person doesn't like it, or every time I step up, turmoil breaks out in my life. Well, of course it does, because you've been living a life of lessness. And you've been called on your quest over and over and over. And everything you've done in this life has deep significance. Your life is a myth. Your life is a story. And if you look at it that way, you'll see that you've gone on these quests and you've succeeded or failed, whatever you label the end result. You have gone on that quest and now you're a different person. You have new wisdom, you have new strength. Or if you're still holding on to being a victim, you're still walking around with those wounds. Whatever you're being is what God, Goddess is creating for you every single night. Every single time you meditate, every single time you do an activation, every single time you come with me and do any of these things, you are going into the realm of the goddess. You're going into the creative realm. And that realm will create anything for you. Just like when a sperm comes into a womb and fertilizes an egg, it is not going to decide, well, you don't really want a blonde, blue-eyed baby. Let me make you a black baby. Okay. It doesn't work that way. What you give the universe, what you give them to work with, they will create it for you. They don't judge you. They don't tell you you're wrong. They don't tell you that you don't want it. They say, okay, that's what you want. I love you. Here you go. And then you go in your day and you wonder why this sucks and why this happened and why don't you have that? And it's not fair. And then you pray and you beg and you say, please, please, I've suffered. Please, please, I'm so tired. Please, please, I need something. No. And you're praying to who? You can't beg some outside entity, some outside force to do it for you. No one is going to rescue you. The only thing you can do is go on your own quest and embrace it. The ups and the downs and the failures and the losses and the successes and the love and the ecstasy and the orgasms and everything in between. And when you do that, now you stand in your sovereignty. Now you start to become the authority. Now you start to realize if I don't own my power, if I don't allow money to come to me, if I don't allow positive experiences, people in the field of my bliss to come to me, to work with them, if I keep playing with the people who are playing small, who are full of fear and limitation and criticize me and gaslight me and don't want to change and want to blame me and everyone else, if I keep playing in that world, then I'm going to be in that world. I am going to create more of that world. Is that what you want to do for your children? Is that what you want to do to the abused single mothers of the world? Is that what you want to do to the children that are being born or the animals or everyone else? You're creating the reality that everything you are aware of exists, gets to live in. Are you being a sovereign queen who is really caring about your realm? Are you really realizing I have the power to change this? But I can't change it if I hold back my voice and worry about the 10,000 times that my throat was slit or I was gagged or I was told not to or I was disowned or I was hung or whatever else has been happened or criticized or ridiculed. Yes, I went on a podcast last night with a woman I respect immensely. She's been around for a long time. I had many of her healing and herbal books in the past time, and it was fascinating. I didn't get upset, but she basically attacked everything I said. She goes, what do you mean by evolution? And I told her, and she said, I don't believe in that. Evolution is survival. It just helps us survive the difficulties of the moment. And I tried to say, I think that we're evolving into accessing higher realms where we don't have to deal with those pains in the same way. We can create a different reality. Nope, she didn't want any of it. I said, higher. She said, you're leaving people behind. You need to be broader. You need to include people. Well, I don't want to be broader in a low state of consciousness. Thank you anyway. If you look at the scale of consciousness, if you look at every single element on the planet, it goes into a higher vibrational state and then poof, it disappears because it goes to a different reality. And that is quantum physics, and that is the way things are formed, and that is the truth of all things. So the interesting part was, wow, that was very cool to have somebody visibly challenge my truth. And what happened was I came away and went, wow, that was very interesting. And I didn't feel attacked. I didn't feel upset. I managed it with grace, I thought. And then it was late at night. I went into my evening and went right back into what I've been doing, which is be on my soul quest to be, to fully embody what it is that I wish for, the reality that I am creating. The reality that I'm creating has to include me being willing to be the queen. We will, and I don't use the word queen a lot because a lot of people use it and misinterpret it. It's a very ego-based thing. One, we hate queens because they're above you. And then on another realm, there's a lot of women's programs that say, be a queen, dress up, wear a crown, go to a fancy chateau, pay millions of dollars to sip champagne and pretend that you're important and better than everybody else. I don't care if you do that. Put on gowns and crowns, and I love all of that stuff. However, the ego-based part of it, what are you looking for? You go on your soul quest and become the queen, become the sovereign being that can actually embody and hold an energy for a world, for a reality that doesn't need to be fed glamour in order to feel good enough. That's coming from a place of desperation and craving for something you feel like you haven't been had. And so start to give yourself those things that you haven't had. But realize, are you doing it by thinking you're stealing it or taking it or you're better than others or you have to do it secretly? Because then that's the energy you're creating your next level of reality with. Oh, I'm going to take for me. That's what our whole world has been created on. Greed and hunger for more me and none for you. We see in the United States ridiculous amounts of money going to war, going to building space things that won't go anywhere, putting millionaires in space for 2 seconds, filling the skies full of satellites, which is polluting our environment now. We're running towards a crisis. We can't see the stars anymore. And we're doing all of this from ego. And it's all like, what about the people who don't even have money to feed their children? What about people that are struggling to start a business and they have a good heart and they have something that could help people? Wow, we don't want to give money to that because those people won't influence others for us. They won't make us famous. And we've got this whole realm of influencers now who are really, really egotistically out of whack people who run around taking pictures of themselves and putting it all over social media, acting like they're so cool, they're so much better, and oh my God, they know. And 2 days, 3, 4 years later, they're just as poor, just as vapid, just as empty inside because they've not pursued anything with a real quest, with a soul purpose. And they're grasping and trying to find their healing through more money, more food, more wealth, more glamorous experiences. You can have any experience you want. There is nothing bad except if it harms others. And here's the problem. If you are being an irresponsible queen of your environment, of what you've been gifted with, your body is an incredible temple that you've brought part of your soul into for a very specific reason. And that soul quest must be honored. It is a promise. It is a purpose. It is a life purpose. And your life purpose is all of so many teachers and information out there is like, pay me and then you'll be rich in 3 days, or come to this glamorous event and go rah, rah, rah in the audience and pump yourself up and then go home and have nothing that's changed after you've just depleted your bank account. Nothing that I do is like that. You come on a retreat with me, you will transform. You will find a new you. You will go back a new person. You will never be the same again. And the biggest part of it is getting out of your ordinary reality because it is too familiar. It is too habitual. And everybody who's talking truth says this. Joe Dispenza says this. He went from 3-day workshops to 4-day workshops, and he saw such a change in people that he went to 7-day workshops, and now he's doing 10-day workshops because he sees and measures the energy and the brain. People are healing of cancer in a week. They're healing of congenital diseases. They're finding completely new realities because that's who we are. We can literally step out of any pain, any disease, any poverty, consciousness, any perception of ourselves, any reality at all within a very short period of time if we're literally willing to leave our life and leave our habits and leave our comfort zone. Your comfort zone is your death zone. And I started saying that many, many years ago because it's where you just slide into death with that same old life and nothing changes. And you have those moments of getting inspired and doing something new. But you have to look at, if I feel called to go get yet another healing certification, and I have 20 of them, but I don't have any clients, and I'm not serving anybody, and I'm afraid, and I've tried to put myself out there a few times, but it hasn't worked. But now I found a new thing that I can put on my resume and say, I'm a blah, blah, blah certified person. That will be the solution. Will it? Will it give you the confidence to step in your own soul quest? Will it give you the energy to stand in your power, to speak your truth, to not be worried if people don't like you? If at first you do not succeed, you keep moving forward into being someone different until that changes? That's the only thing that's going to actually change your reality. So I'm not saying don't go after things. When I bought my real estate investing course, it changed my life profoundly. It was a huge drama and trauma. I've told that story many times to you. It changed my relationship with my husband. It changed my inner authority and sovereignty. I had to choose every day in a very difficult circumstances because he was pissed off and didn't speak to me for 2 months, and we were raising 2 tiny little babies. So I had to choose every single day, is this worth it? Is it worth it to pursue something that I can't explain why I know this is for me? So I'm not saying don't follow your heart, but most likely your heart, or what you believe your intuition is talking to you about, could be tangled up in these old fears, these pains, these desperations, and these concepts of unfulfilled desires at a lower level. Most people have challenges in body, relationship, and self-worth. This reflects in money, income, and personal freedom, most of all, as well as definitely in the health of the body. The stress of the fear of money is so profound that it is the number one cause of divorce and relationship breakup. It's the number one cause of disease. It's the number one cause of lack of self-worth, depleted energy, and depression, and everything that creates. So if you've been given a label by the government, by the government, or by the medical community in the Western world now, everything is about tests. Oh, we better have a test for that. We better do another test for that. We better invade you and test you and test you and test you. There's nothing wrong with you, but if we don't do tests all the time and suck all of your money and get you onto our little path of going into our pills and spending your whole life in disease, then you might suddenly heal yourself, and then nobody will be able to explain it. Your healing is inside of you. Your truth is inside of you. Like Chiron, perhaps you will never heal the pain in your hip. But if you become a god, if you realize your sovereign power, you then become the wounded healer. You heal others from your wounded state. And the wounded state is no longer hated, no longer blamed, no longer seen as a burden or bad. You could be a sovereign queen who can't walk. It doesn't mean you don't have the power to think, to create, to be kind, to create a world and a realm full of magic and love and possibility and equality and respect. It doesn't require any of the things you think that require perfection for you to be successful. I've struggled with my weight, or I did in the past, much of my life, because of a lot of fear of being myself, being too big, being too powerful, told not to be too many things. And then I carried the burden of being ugly and being judged, because you are when you're fat or different. And then I wanted to put myself out there, and I wanted to heal the world. And I had to put myself out there while also carrying this literally sweaty, like just sweating nonstop of, I know they're judging me, but I'm going to stand up there on stage anyway. I know this is happening. So what did I create? I created success and failure and success and failure. And within the success, there was only bittersweet energies, because no matter how much success I had, I still had this feeling that I wasn't good enough because of how I looked, or because that I couldn't say, oh, I have 20,000 clients today, or I make $50,000 a month, or whatever it was that was in the realms I was working in that people like to claim, which I then found out later was mostly lies anyway. However, here's the thing. All of that is possible, but it isn't what defines your success. It isn't what defines your purpose or your path. So your power is already within you, and you're encoded from your soul. And what happened to me last night is a culmination, and it's going to continue, of all the work I've done, all the work I've done, especially in the last 5 years since Chris's Kundalini awakening / seizure, however you want to perceive it, that completely changed the course of our lives. You could say everything was lost, and in some ways it was. My business went from a much higher state down because I wasn't able to constantly work and sustain it. And now it's building back up, but I'm a different person. I have different values. I'm no longer willing to live in stress. I'm no longer willing to chase. I'm no longer willing to push. I'm no longer willing to carry that idea that I'm not good enough, but I got to put myself out there anyway because this is important work that I'm doing, or I need money to survive. Whatever is motivating you to get past your fear, to get past your limits, can be a good thing. However, wouldn't you rather that it was because you were willing to step into your future timeline that says, I am the goddess, I am the creator, I am the manifester, I am the one that decides, I am the one that embodies, I am the queen, I am the king, I am the sovereign being, whatever term you like for it. So in the past, I've avoided using the word queen and king because it's just filled with all of these ideas of war, owning people, owning land, class system. You're superior to everyone else. Obviously, what this woman that interviewed me thought. Well, if you go higher, then you're leaving people behind. And I thought, wow, we should have a session so I can free you from that, because you're doing good work, but you're clearly doing work from a victim mentality. And Bodhisattva, she brought up, which is like a Kuan Yin. When you reach enlightenment, but you choose not to move on to other places, you stay here and you help people who are attempting to reach enlightenment. I 100% agree with that. But a bodhisattva didn't broaden. They reached higher states of consciousness, just like you. So I've been doing all summer, since my eye surgeries and my ear surgeries, I'm very aware that they're working on more than just my physical level. I don't just have eyesight now without glasses or clearer. I had cataracts, so it was very hard to see, very dark and very blur, like looking through dirty glass all the time. My ears have always been a problem, but then this one blew a hole in it in March. And so this also is working on the other realms of my body, my inner hearing, my psychic hearing, my clairaudience, my clairvoyance, my ability to see. And clairvoyance means more than just, oh, I see energies, or I perceive visions, or I'm very visual in my communication, intuitive, which I am now. I wasn't in the beginning, so don't worry about that. Don't get on a spiritual superiority path of saying, oh, I'm better than others, or I wish I was that and I'm not good enough. Until you are where you are, and do it where you are, and join the Intuition Awakening Summer Camp right now, because we did one class and I mean, it's the fastest explosion of transformation I've ever seen, and everything I do in my classes is massively transformative. The chat, the group chat is exploding day and night, because we did the soul contract. And we went in and I gave them a process to find the key soul contracts that are holding you back, where you agreed to not speak up. I was attacked and killed for my money. I'm never going to have money again. I was attacked and killed for my voice, or for my psychic powers, or for my, intuitive powers, or for being a priestess, an oracle, a shaman, a medicine woman, a wise elder, a witch, a sorceress, or whatever. Okay. So we have a history of that. And now that's coming forward, that you have a choice. You're on a path. You can follow your quest consciously, or you can be dragged along it. And if you're dragged along it, it seems like suffering and misery. It seems like you have no control over anything. And in many ways, you don't have the only choice, the only control you have during the day is to choose how you respond to what happens. Okay? Choose what you're going to do next. Choose how you respond to what happens. And now you're in a more active co-creation. But more important than anything, who are you being within you? What is the energy you're holding? Are you sovereign? Are you aware that you have a quest, that you are on a fully funded mission, that you have everything you need, that the money, the people, and whatever it is are already there, and for you to transmute yourself into a state where you can enter a different timeline and live in that reality. And that reality is not what you thought. which is why I talked just now clearly about the fact that if you put yourself out there going, I want a big important job and a big house and a Mercedes Benz, and I had a Mercedes Benz, they're wonderful. And I need these clothes and I need this body and I need this amount of money, and then I will be happy and I will be good enough and everyone will love me, and then I can live the life that I want. I can tell you that your ego consciousness that is putting those kind of paradigms on it, not that any of those things you can't have. However, it's what your ego wants, and it is not what your soul wants. And the life your soul is ready to live could look very different. It's sovereign, and you are the queen of your reality. And yet at the same time, you may not be the one that sits, there eating bonbons all the day, having everybody pamper you. You can be supported. You can be supported in many, many ways, whether that's somebody driving you, whether that's somebody helping you get dressed, whether that's somebody cooking for you or cleaning for you, whether that's support in your business or in your job, whether that's a supportive partner, a loving partner who's not over just wallowing in their own pain and fear and blaming you, or like many, many relationships that one of my clients was telling me about, her first marriage, where the husband was like, I make the money, I make the rules. You don't get any money. You don't get to do what you want. You serve me, you take care of me. And then maybe, she said, if I would make sure everything was just perfect for him, I could sneak off and do something for a few hours that I wanted to do. But that's prison. Okay. That's prison. And you're not sovereign if that's the life you're living. Sorry, you may not like that I'm telling you that. You may want to go find a different teacher that will tell you things like, go to this workshop and then nothing will change, but, we'll tell you what you want to hear. Well, you have a choice. Who you're being, though, is what changes everything. So this summer I started with 2, 4, 6, 8, and now it could be longer than that, hours in other realms. You could call it meditation, you could call it healing, you could call it visualization, you could call it shamanic travel, you could call it talking to guides, going to other lives, whatever you want to call it. That's what I've been doing. More and more and more. And the beautiful thing is, after you do something for a very short amount of time, it becomes more of a habit. You want to do it. You aren't willing to go through your day without doing it. And now it's gone into fluid time, meaning that when I go to bed, I know that I'm going to go into this, and it could be an hour or it could be 6 hours, and I surrender to it. And often I stay awake through the whole thing. I go to sleep sometimes. Last night, I am working into being completely embodied in the future reality that is becoming my current reality that I want to live. Who am I? Who's there? What does it look like? So I commonly think about my retreat in Avalon. Highly recommend you come. Get out of your ordinary world. Magic is unbelievable. What we're going to do, the energy's there, the other world that you can walk in, getting out of your own reality. I could go on forever. So I go in, and it starts with visualizing. You know this, right? You visualize yourself there. How would it feel to be on the plane going or coming home? How would it that the Chalice well gardens with us while we're doing our private access activation? How would it feel to be in the White Springs rebirthing with the goddess on the last day? How would it feel in the goddess temple when the Avalon priestesses are doing a sound healing with us? Are you healing your blood, your body? Are you healing your pain? Are you healing your mind? Are you healing your money? Are you healing what is it that's going to change, become whole? Who's the being you're going to become? You could feel me hugging you. You could feel yourself holding the other people's hands. You could see the sun going down on the tour. You could imagine being at the sacred stones and toning in this ancient long barrow with Maria, and calling in the Fae Queen and the long-skulled people who lived there and built these and walked in their fairy bodies in form. And maybe they're your supernatural ancestors. They are mine. My Celtic lineage is coming up really strong. And you can take anything that you can grasp onto and you can begin to build around it. How would it feel? What would I think? What would I say? What would I decide? And then you expand that into, well, what would I choose in my life? Would I keep living with this person in this place doing this job? So I've been entering these realms. They've been becoming more and more real to me. And part of it is you have to turn your back on. You have to go upstairs and shut the door and not go back to the what about this pain and what about that problem and what about this and all this stuff. Or, oh, I'm just going to have to go back to I actually have had people call me about going to retreats in the past and saying, well, what's the difference? I'm going to come back and just be the same person in the same life. What's going to change? And I thought, well, that's up to you. I know that never happens. It's not possible when you actually leave your home for that to happen. However, if you carry that with you, you'll be very strongly surprised if you break free of that, or surprised when, not surprised when you hold a lot of power, use your power instead of to be free to go back and be the same. It takes a lot of power and energy to be in pain and fear. You know, you're exhausted. So I was sitting there. I did a few of the things, audio, music, and things that I do. And then I just left it because I could feel myself vibrating, expanding, going to a new realm. And suddenly I was embodying things. And I was I was in Avalon, and I was at the lake, and the lady of the lake was in the water. And I was standing there, and I was very aware that all of my past life vows and contracts that have shackled me, that have to do with being betrayed, stabbed in the back, killed, beheaded, and everything, were like armor along my back. And I could feel the one place in my back that used to get spasms. And I could feel the things around my throat. And I could feel that these were still there. And they kept becoming an embodiment of all of these. And some of them I knew what they were, and some I didn't. And I just stood there. And then I was in the water, and I was under the water. And some images you see of the Lady of the Lake, because she's the goddess of Avalon, which is the other world, the goddess realm in Glastonbury, where we're going. And we are definitely walking between the worlds. So if someone tells you that it's not real, that they live in a very sad world. And the lake isn't there, but it was there. There's a little bit of it over here, which we're going to go to. However, she's floating above it with Excalibur, which is the sign, the symbol of giving you your power. Giving Excalibur the sword to Arthur to go on the quest for the Holy Grail is the entire myth of your life. And it says that when you go out into the world and you come into your body, you are here on a mystical quest. And you've forgotten who you were, and you forgot your quest, and you forgot that you were meant to be the king or the queen. You're the once and future king. And you have to show a sign that you are willing to embody this power. And then the goddess, then the realms that support you, just like every mythic hero, will appear and will give you a special tool, will give you a special message, will give you a special guidance, and will say, if you stay on your path, we will give you this tool. So the sword and the chalice have become the realm of the representatives of the masculine and feminine that come together to create reality. And the goddess, the Lady of the Lake, who rises from the lake and manifests this sword of light and gives it to Arthur, is the same thing that's happening for you. You are given the tools and the power. What is the sword? Well, it is that masculine energy to go out in the world. Is it for killing? No, that's not what we're talking about, because it was used, and Arthur was an incredible knight and killed a lot of people. That was the reality he lived in. We're separating from that, and we're using this as an energetic metaphor to understand your path. Okay. So when you're given a wand or a staff or anything like a sword, a lot of people relate to Archangel Michael. He's one of my favorites, always around my house here. Thank you. And there's a sword of light, right? It's a sword of truth. There's an idea that with this sword, if you pick it up, if you hold it, if it is made just for you, is given to you by source, by God, by the goddess, by something divine, it is saying you have the power now to create your reality in the masculine world. And on Sunday, we're going to do part 2 of this soul quest. And the soul quest will be taking up that sword and moving forward on your soul mission. Today, we're doing the sacred feminine aspect of this, and it's the chalice. And the chalice is the womb or the cauldron. It is a cup. It is not the cup of Christ. It is the eternal image of the cup of creation that you can create whatever you want, that you are the womb, that you are the holder, you woman, man, whatever you are, doesn't matter, okay? We're talking about the energies, the principles of creation. Everything is one, but we separate it into masculine or yin and yang or positive and negative, magnets. We have to separate the energy to then create. And we can watch water become heat and become vapors and disappear from our perception, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist anymore. It didn't die. So when you have this given to you, it's saying you're on a quest, you've made a promise, and this will be taken away from you the minute that you go off that quest. So maybe you've experienced being in integrity, honoring yourself. A sin is not being you. A sin is not you were born sinful, you're a bad person, you're going to be a bad person until you die. And if you don't take anything for yourself and give everything to everyone else, maybe one day after you die, you'll get something nice. This is a bullshit story. Let it go. It's a disempowerment story. It's a human control story. It's an interpretation of divine guidance that tells you, be nothing, have nothing, let us have everything, give everything to someone else, and then you'll be blessed some other time. No. Okay? No. And the fact that the feminine was the female was the power was for owning things, for making money, for having a choice, for leaving a marriage, for voting, for opening a bank account, was taken away, and women were killed and were hunted for having natural powers of healing and love and creation, is because we own the power. And everyone, again, not just women, we own the power to create. And that can't be controlled by any government, any religion, any rules, or anyone else outside of us. So we're coming from a history where the misinterpretation that a sword means killing, that we have to go to war to protect our way of life, when you find out later, really, nobody gave a shit about spreading democracy or protecting life. They just wanted to kill everybody so that they could force those people to join the World Bank, or to take their oil, or to force some other secret agenda. Okay. So your secret agenda is your quest. And when I was there, I go often to talk with the Lady of the Lake, work with Morgane Le Fay, Merlin, the great goddess, the dragons, Mary Magdalene, Archangel Michael. These are all the energies we're going to work with on the retreat, because they're very alive in these lands and these places and these lore and these myths and these stories, and everyone that are there, and they're very alive and they're very willing to work with us. So this was a different experience, because I was definitely carrying all of these soul contracts in a physical way on my body. And then there's a lot that happened, but as my energy shifted, I could feel the metamorphosis happening literally in my cells, in my aura. I was laying in the water, and I was just underneath the water. And you often see pictures of the Lady of the Lake, or the Celtic water magic, feminine goddess type images, where they're laying just under the surface of the water. So the water is here and you can see them. They're just laying there, almost like sleeping, but with their eyes open, looking up. And I was like that. I was in the water. But first I was laying on the water. And then the water and the goddess started to dissolve these heavy burdens. Metal, if you perceive that you have metal armor on, that's pretty dense stuff. It's difficult to dissolve metal. If you have a tiny little ribbon, you can pull it off and get away. That's your shackle. You've moved into a place where that energy is very, very little. When you see something as a shackle, as a prison, when you perceive something with a denser perception to it or manifestation of it, it means it's very, very effective. It's very, very dense in your field. So when you go on a quest, you are deciding, regardless of who you are, where you are, what you have, you're going on the quest. And you're trusting that when you leave your ordinary world, that magical fairy goddess mother, or Athena, or the Lady of the Lake, or some other mystical being, wise elder, maybe it's your grandmother or something from another time, will be there to give you guidance. And then you enter the unknown lands, and then you go into the underworld, you go into the shadow world. And this is where your power is, and this is where your fears are that hold you back, and this is where you reclaim your power and you die to who you were, and then you rise out, and you have to keep fighting the demons and keep deciding to get up and live again and fight your way out and go back in and go in and go out. And pretty soon you emerge enlightened, you emerge with a new power. And when you emerge with a new power, you have to decide who you're going to be before you enter your ordinary world again. So these are the phases that you go through on a retreat with me. This is the phases you go through on your quest of your life. And you can look at different areas of your life. Maybe in a relationship, you're in that dark death period. You're in the underworld. You're realizing that you can't fight this demon anymore, that you're going to die to who you were, that you're not willing to carry on the relationship the way it was, and you want to be reborn. Maybe you're just being called to adventure. You're feeling like something wonderful is about to happen. I'm going to go to Avalon. I'm going to do this retreat. It doesn't matter how I see all the barriers to me going. I know I'm meant to go. I'm going to answer that call. I'm going to step into the world, and my magic fairy goddess mother is going to show me how to do it. And then other things are going to open and miracles are going to happen. And I'm going to get on my path of bliss, and doors are going to open I didn't know were there. And people are going to be there to help me that I don't know are there, because you can't find any of those things sitting at home waiting for them. If you decide to stay in your ordinary world, if you decide to stay in your ordinary mindset and be who you are, your quest will never come and find you. You will just sit in your disappointment of wanting your quest, of wanting it. And your soul's here to quest. Your soul's here to adventure. It's here to try new things, to go new places. Because when you do that, the minute you leave your house, you get on a path of intersection. You meet other people, you see different things, you taste other things, you have opportunities for new solutions, new ideas, things you never knew about to come into your world. And those start to lead you on your path. Your path is not straight. Your path is a current. It comes, it goes. So soon I was laying, and then I felt these shackles dissolving. This was 8 hours, so many other things happened. And then I was the water, and only my head, my face was above the water, and everything that was me had melted. I had no body. I had no shackles. I was just the water. And then I sunk under the water, and I was like those Celtic water magic goddesses that just float under the water and looking up. And everything was pure and everything was peaceful. And I just stayed there for a very long time. Occasionally I would wonder, am I going to rise up? Am I going to get a chalice? Am I going to get a sword? But my conscious mind is not really there in that way. What happened in the end was so profound, there's no way for me to convey it to you. After a very long time of transformation and feeling physically in my body, the aura, and Chris was even in bed with me, woke up at some point, probably 3, 4 a.m. and realized what was going on and was touching my field and telling me he loved me and holding. I wasn't talking clearly. And I could feel the vibration in my auric field, literally transmuting the cells, the vibration that I am. And it's not going back ever. I know that. I moved into an entirely different reality last night, and I've been doing it bit by bit, but this was one of those moments that it's a new threshold. So the reason I have this beautiful artwork here by Chris is it's one of my Guinevere arts for my oracle. I'm not going to have a Guinevere, but I used that as a prototype, as a young royal queen with a duty, with a quest, with a mission, with a duty that she felt she didn't want to follow. She didn't want to be married off to somebody that she didn't know. She wanted to choose her life. She was beautiful and was revered for her beauty and her physicality, but she was so much more. And she was pure love. And she came at first like that young maiden to a realm and ran away. And in her running away, she met Arthur, and he ran away too. And they were both young, and they didn't understand their destiny, and they didn't understand who they were, and they fell in love all on their own. And then they realized they were destined to be together, and now they were able to realize that they were destined through love too. And so this to me conveys a queen embodying the love for herself and her quest and her kingdom. And she grew into a strong queen who had the strength not the meekness of a beautiful maiden that was revered just for her love and her lineage, but who was strong, who understood the ways of people, who understood the not so pleasant ways that went on behind the scenes, and how to hold her power and to be sovereign and to find always the best for everyone. And this is what happened for me. I rose from the waters, and my back, I only saw my back. I rose up and floated just above the waters, and I was seeing and perceiving myself from behind. And I don't really know what I was wearing, but suddenly I was a queen, and I was all silver kind of, and this gown was being buttoned onto me. Not something I would normally like to wear, very thin arms, brocaded kind of, with those teeny tiny buttons that are covered with fabric all the way down my spine up. And I normally wouldn't like that. It came right up to here, and I like silky, flowy things that I can take off easily and all of that. So I went into the possibility of having this, and I just kept watching, and it went on for a long time. Slowly, these buttons were being buttoned. And in the end, I was fully dressed. I had a cape of some kind of pewter colored silver. It was very kind of a silver pewter color, this outfit. I never saw my face, but I stood in this power. And it was basically, instead of me carrying all these shackles and all this armor, I was enrobed now back into my sovereign garments. And I rose higher, and other things happened. But essentially, this morning I arose, and I am the sovereign being of my reality. I'm no longer a victim. And so what happens is that I have the power and the ability now to be already the reality. I kept imagining, am I being given a sword or a scepter? Am I going to be given a wand? Two things happened. I was given a chalice, and then I was standing in front of my sink in my kitchen, and the stone in front of it flipped open, and a secret container was there with a long wand, and I took it out. And those were the things that I most remember. So I've shared that. I've shared a lot of my passion about what's happening right now, what we need to do right now. So let's go ahead and dive in to our soul quest. I'm going to take a second here to, let's see here, have a sip of water. All right, I have a beautiful lady who's wanting to come to the retreat that I have an appointment with right now, and I didn't realize we went so long, so I had to ask her to be very kind and gracious and let me get to her shortly. So this is Sunday, and I want to just share a few other images for you so that you can feel into being the creator of your reality, or the sovereign being, or the queen. This is the one that I most love because Guinevere went from this to this. Do you see the difference? The beauty, the softness, the loveliness, the promise, the innocence of the new queen, the new someone stepping onto their path, ready at that change of life, and then developing into this strong, powerful, fully present, sovereign, willing to look you in the eye, fully owning her crown, fully standing in her beingness, knowing that this is how she makes the most powerful impact in the world. So I'm going to go back quickly for a moment to this. This is an image that I had Chris create for us for this retreat of the Chalice. It's on the tour on the Avalon. So we're going to go into a magic Chalice feminine power quest. And I'm just feeling into, I really want to be with her. Here's another beautiful queen embodied, depending on who you feel resonant with. I'm going to put her here. Okay. Take a nice deep breath in, and I want you to hold your stomach, and I want you to hold it with both hands and start to rock back and forth. Take a deep breath in, let it out. Take a deep breath in. Bring it in any way you want. Bring it up your nose, bring it from your toes. Let it go through you. I am cleansed and cleared of the pain and the illusion that I am not sovereign and powerful. Blow it out. Draw in your breath and say, I am that I am, EA Escher, EA. And in this moment, I'm willing to embrace my quest, whatever that means. I surrender all else. Blow it out. Now, push your hands down while they're flat on your stomach. Just push them down over that navel, over that belly, over that womb, and hold it, cup it, touch your body, feel your body. Take a breath into your womb. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Take it into the sacral center. I cleanse, clear, and rejuvenate my soul's womb, the place of the chalice of my divine feminine power, and the place that holds all that I require to live this soul quest and succeed now. Blow very hard. We invite the dragons to come, to blow their fire, to blow their ice, to bring their strength and their power and their mystical energies and enter our wombs now. Burn away the shame, the blame, the past, the fear, the abuse. Blow it away now. Take away the heaviness that I perceive, that I have carried, that I believe in. Take away the shackles and the dungeons. Take away the shame. Take it away now. Feel the energies burning away down the thighs, up the belly, through the womb. Feel those heaviness, all the layers of the shackles, the dungeons, the agreements, the tolerances, all of the things that you have put up with, all the things that you've put yourself in, all the things you've agreed to, the secrecy. Let it go. Let it burn. Let it fall away. Let it fall apart. Let it free you from within. Don't stay any longer inside of this prison. Dragons, dragons, now, my sacred dragon energies, the energies of the ley lines. I call on the great goddess of Avalon. I call on the waters that be. I call on the Lady of the Lake and Merlin and Morgan Le Fay. I call on the fairies. I call on the realms of the mystic. I call on the realms of the times, of my power, of my understanding, of my experience. I ask to be freed from this prison now, to clear my chalice, to clear my womb. I am ready now, to be, to become, and to have everything that is required at my fingertips, to remember that I hold the sacred space to birth the world of my promise to my soul. Burn it away now. Burn it down. Let the walls fall. Let the waters come. Let the flood happen. Let the avalanche go. Bring in that breath now. Fire and ice, fire and ice, fire and ice. Let it come. Hold your space, hold your power, feel the energies down the legs and out, up, your arms, out, your head, your eyes blurring from this, letting it all go. Let every sheath, every roll, every robe you've carried, every false illusion, every mask you've embodied, every life you've said, I will be this limited thing. I will be the slave. I will be the servant. I will be your agreement. I will no longer tolerate any of this. This is all gone now, burned away, frozen, broken, falling apart, tumbling. Let the castles crumble. Let the dungeons fall. It is done. It is done. It is done. The Lady of the Lake comes as Callie. She holds swords and knives. She holds wands and staffs. They glow with fire and light. They glow with white. They glow with black. They glow with gold. They glow with purple. They cut away everything. They cut away the prisons. They cut away the tangled web. They cut away the shackles. They cut away everything you've been bound with, everything you've been shackled with, everything in every time, in every space, in every agreement you've ever made that let you limit your truth and your power and keep you from your holy quest. They are gone now. I receive, I accept, I receive, I accept, I receive, I accept, I receive, I accept. And so it is, it is, it is. And now there is silence as you sink into the lake of Avalon. Silence. As your nothingness, as the ashes of what you've burned, as the pieces of what you've broken, as the past, the shackles, the bonds, the armor, the keys, the walls, everything that you've perceived that has held you back and held you down, built by you or agreed to by others, all of it falling into the waters, sinking into the depths, into the womb of the great goddess, into the womb of the divine mother, into the womb of pure, unconditional love. As you fall deeper and deeper, feel and sense yourself, nothingness. There is no body, there is no shape. Who am I without these definitions? Who am I without these limits? Who am I without these bonds? Who am I without these agreements? I am free. I am nothing. I have no form. I have no shape. Deeper and deeper you sink into these waters. You feel around you the darkness enveloping you. There is no light here. You are deep within the womb, the chalice of the great goddess, the beginning of time, the beginning of space. You were there. You are here. You hear and sense the softness of the true Creator, you. Welcome home, beautiful lost one. Your adventures have been great. You have traveled far and wide. Now you have within you, around you, dismantled, deconstructed. There is no longer anything to hold you away from your true path. The quest that you took on this soul path has been up and down and through the dungeons, and you've suffered and you've enjoyed and you've created and you've lost. And now your new quest is to let it all go, to let it fade, let it sink, let it dissolve. Let the ashes and the pieces of all that you thought you were, all the agreements you have in this life and all others, fall gently and softly deeper into this dark, dark, dark void, this abyss, this lake of the other world. Down, down, down. And you simply float You float without a body, without an identity. You have no things. You are nowhere. You have only this voice within you. It is I. I am you. You are me. We are one. I am the divine creator, the Alpha and the Omega. I am the beginning and the end. I am the sun and the moon. I am Father Sky and Mother Earth. I am the goddess and the dragon. I am the children and the sage. I am the mother. I am the lover. I am everything and anything and nothing. And I am you, and you are me. Dissolve into this nothingness. Let it all go. Reclaim your purity. Your path ahead is one of greatness, not the greatness that you think of generals and leaders in the world. No, this is not greatness. This is greed. This is ego. Your quest is one of creation, of being the chalice that will hold the creation of a new reality and a new world. And you know that that new world will be one of beauty and love, of magic, of blooming and blossoming, of accepting the day and the night, the winter and the summer, the birth and the death, all that is and all that was is always there. You've answered this call and you're here now. This quest is the most important one you have ever embodied, and you must embody it, but you cannot embody it in the body you've had. You cannot embody it in the mind that you've had. You cannot believe or walk or talk or be or see or do anything that you have agreed to on this quest if you still walk in who you thought you were only a few moments ago. Let it go and be one with nothing. Float here in the lake of Avalon. Let the mystical realms around you soothe you, feed you. Just float, beautiful one. Float and know that from nothing comes something. Everything was created from the invisible to the visible and returns again to the invisible. Be nothing. Accept it, breathe it, taste it, feel it, embody it completely. This is your womb, your cocoon of metamorphosis. And this quest requires that you start over so that you may embody this world. You may be the mother of this world. You will hold the womb and the chalice of this world. And you will hear no other. You will hear no false lies. You will see no one else's truth. You will be sovereign. You will walk as a creator. Every step and every word will change the reality around you. You will touch someone or something, and it will instantly transform. Nothing will be allowed in your realm except that which you hold. And the seeds for this quest and the seeds for this new world are already within you. You have been designed for this. You do not have to learn, achieve, or work. You need to accept now. This is your truth. This is your destiny, and this is yours right now. Take a moment to simply be and allow. Let the mind go. Let the body go. Let the past go. And be nourished. Allow this metamorphosis to continue. It is done what you have come here for. It has happened in the realms of creation, in the infinite field, and the echo of your truth and the acceptance of your new quest is rippling out through the ethers, through the realms, through the world, through the earth and the sky and the waters and the trees. It goes out to the eagles and down to the rabbits. It moves through all time and place. I am that I am, and I've accepted my quest. I am that I am, and I am the chalice that holds this. I am the space, the sovereign space, the safe space, the womb, and I will be the love, and I will protect my creation as if I am growing the most important child within me. I will follow this path and protect. I will not allow any of the pain and the past and the fear and the doubt to enter me. I am pure, and I embody this pureness. Now you feel more light coming into you. You begin to glow. You're radiating a glow. It is green, it is white, it has sparkles, there's gold. The energies, as you accept, are infusing. You begin to see and sense a body coming back into shape, into form, reforming. You're rising from the waters. You're slowly coming up. You feel as if you have a soft, beautiful, etheric body with gorgeous, luminous wings, like a fairy, holding your hands in prayer, bowing your head, your long, beautiful, glowing hair. You are a body of light. Like a tiny ballerina, your toes are pointed. You rise from the waters. You're just light. You're just glowing. You're pure potential. You are the dream. You are the seed. You rise up higher and higher. You simply hold your focus within. Now the robes of your quest come. They fly in. The dragons come. The fairies come. The angels come. Archangel Michael is here. You feel the sword of light all around you, protecting you, creating a space, a womb, a cocoon that will go with you as this quest is slowly brought into form. Like a butterfly in a cocoon, you simply hold this shape, this power of beauty, purity. Your wings are out already, but your focus is within. You are fully in gratitude, and you embody the truth, the innocence, the purity of this divine part of you. Now you are wrapped, you are swathed. All of this, like a sacred egg, is now wrapped up in royal robes. You can see and sense the velvet, the symbols, the beautiful brocade, like an incredible, special treasure. This is the quest. This is your quest. You are your quest. Now, This egg, this cocoon that you are wrapped is risen up, 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 and you are taken to the top of the tower of the Isle of Avalon, and slowly you are lowered down into the Tower of Michael, down into the womb of Mary Magdalene and Michael. You are laid to rest inside of this beautiful place. You are wrapped, protected, surrounded, and nourished. You will gestate here for just the perfect amount of time, and as you integrate this, you will walk in the world and you will think that you are who you were, but you aren't. Because the truth is now, you are planted and embedded in this sacred place, and there's no going back. You are becoming. You have reclaimed the divine feminine chalice of your soul's quest. And as it comes in perfect divine timing and grows to readiness for birth, you know it's here. Remember it. Go here every night. Be here with it. Sit with these divine guardians of light and love, and know that they walk with you in your day, coming back into your body in this moment and this time. You may see your body, your form. You may see your life. You may see your house. But it is not what you thought, and it no longer holds those energies. You are free, you are new, and you have been given the power, you've been given the tool, you've been given the truth. You are on your quest, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Embody this and take your time to be here. Repeat this and remember, this is a sacred quest. It's not a one-time meditation to make you feel better. Do not play those games anymore, where you go and feel happy and then go back to your pain. You have not been released on a prison day pass. You have been broken free from prison. You are sovereign. You are the queen. You are the master. You are the power that creates reality. And none is above you, because I am that I am. I am the divine embodied here. And I will never again forget that. And I will remember and live my soul promise with every breath and every step, with every touch, with every decision, with every idea. There is a path, and I no longer believe in the limitations and the fears of others. I walk above the earth in my own realm. And though others may squirm in their pain and their darkness, I do not buy it, I do not believe it, I do not add to it, I do not see them as victims. I simply radiate this love and this light and say, you too, from my heart, can be free. And now you see and you notice that there are more of us that have been freed, more of us that are walking in these light realms. You can see and perceive your sisters and brothers of light now. You can see the dragons and the goddess. You can see your guides. You can see your power, and you hold the wand of your truth. You are never alone, and yet you are the creator. Create from this love. Never again create or allow anything into your chalice, into your womb, into the place of your creations that is full of pain, fear, lack, or limitation. Allow, accept inspiration, transcendence, harmony, compassion, bliss, love, peace, gratitude, reverence, serenity, truth, infinite possibilities. This is the truth I walk in, and I know it is true. Whatever I require from my path is already here. I simply accept it and see it and allow it to appear. Money or time, energy or health, support or friendship, it is all here. And the strength that I need to follow my quest and not listen to others, the strength that I need to step out of the fear and into the unknown, that is here. in my hands. The softness of this rebirth is the strength of truth. The sword of truth will always cut through the falsehood, and the illusion falls before me as I embody this truth. Now, now, now. And so it is, and so it is. And may this circle be open yet never broken. And this divine path, this divine transformation, and this soul quest be with you forever. And be here for those as they wake to join us. We are a family of light and love, of infinite possibilities and awakened creators. Join us, walk with us, be one of us, live in and co-create the world of love, light, mystery, magic, beauty, and beyond. I have deep gratitude for you, for being here with me as I transcend. I thought it would be lonely. I thought I would speed ahead of others and be all alone, and yet I rise to new realms. I access new truths, and then slowly those appear around me who are here as well, who are rising out of the pain in the past and no longer believing all of this illusion of lack. I am sovereign. I am the queen of my realm, and I am the benevolent queen. I am here to create within my chalice of magic, within my cauldron of truth, and within my womb. I am here to create a realm that serves the highest of all, the mysteries of the goddess and the magic, the love and the peace, the creativity. This is my realm. Walk with me, join me. Come to Avalon. Take my hand. Let us dance and sing and heal and transcend together. I honor you. I see you. I accept you. And I empower you. So it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, I'm going to leave you now. Time left me. I appreciate you so much for being a part of my path. Please take your time, repeat this as needed, share this as wide as far as you can, and know that what I said was true. Listen to the words deeply, and come join me on Sunday or tomorrow in the Intuition Awakening School. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. 1333333. We only just started. Loving the image behind you. You're so welcome. Namaste.